water use during this crisis has crept up.
Since last Saturday, our water usage has been trending upward. 2 days ago, we surpassed the sustainable threshold, and today we are at that threshold. Yesterday, we used 480 million liters of water. That is the threshold.
And that's not good, as this citywide emergency isn't expected to last days anymore. It could stretch on for weeks.
Our only choice is to stay the course with our current water restrictions for 3 to 5 weeks longer and do these critical repairs now.
The city has shared our water use since this emergency has started. At first, Calgarians were hearing the message. Every drop counts, but as you can see, people's ability to keep up those water conserving efforts are waning. The longer this has gone on, the more we can see Calgarians are tired of this. That's not good, but what does it mean to run out of water? It's something the mayor's talked about.
The reality is that we may run out of water. You could end up turning on a tap and nothing will come out. That is the reality. It's not a scene out of a movie anymore.
The city has said over and over that our water system has shifted so that Glenmore, our older and smaller water treatment plant, is taking on more of the load. And that plant isn't meant to serve all of Calgary like this, right? But because of the feeder main break, they've had to slow production and delivery of treated water at Bears Paw, the newer and bigger plant, way down.
And so Bears Paw right now is probably producing 130 megaliters per day. So megaliters per day is million liters per day. Normally it's producing closer to 450 or near 500 megaliters per day. So it could produce more, but we'd have nowhere to put the water.
So that's a far cry from the typical split of 60% of our drinking water coming from Bears Paw and 40% from the Glenmore water treatment plant.
Our little engine that could, which is the Glenmore water treatment plant, that is serving the majority of the city right now, we are operating that and taking very good care of that right now.
But the mountain that little engine has to climb is getting steep. This was Wednesday afternoon.
While we came in at the threshold today of 480 million liters of water used, we can see that water usage is creeping up.
480 million liters per day, as the target officials say, keeps us in that safe range. Calgarians are being asked to keep water usage under this level to get through the water crisis safely.
And so it's really a warning call, I think, what the mayor is sharing with Calgarians.
That's Carrie Black, a Canada Research Chair and Assistant Professor at the University of Calgary. And the warning call, she thinks, is so the city doesn't need to issue a state of local emergency here, which is a measure that would give the city powers it doesn't currently have under the Municipal Government Act.
We saw that during COVID, not that anybody wants to talk about that again, but a citywide state of emergency allows you to enact different emergency response plans. And I think the mayor really doesn't want to go there. And it's not fear-mongering as some people might think that it is. It's more about people recognizing that unless they do this willingly, you may have to put measures in that are enforcing it more.
I went to the University of Calgary to talk to Tricia Stadnick, who is a Canada Research Chair and Engineering Professor. And she told me more about how that water goes from those reservoirs to our taps.
Yeah, so the whole system works based on pressure, right? And because we have about 300 meters of elevation change across the city, the lower elevation you are, the higher the pressure. And so the easier it is to deliver the water to you. So these reservoirs are located at the higher elevations so that it's gravity drainage and through pressure within the system. And so we could get to a point, if those reserves get low enough, where there's just not enough pressure to deliver to every part of the system, in which case people will see that they'll turn on their taps and no water will come out.
That's what the city means when they talk about the taps running dry. But that's not to say there will be no access to water.
Running out of water means, in my opinion, is not literally running out of water, but it will mean heavy water restrictions and a reprioritization of where water is going to go. And we don't want to get to that point because it's very simple and very easy to reduce your water by 25%. These are not challenging things to do. In fact, I would urge everybody to reduce their water by 50% because it's actually not that hard to do.
I don't want people panicking, thinking that they're not going to have access to drinking water. We will have access to drinking water. It's just that we might not get it delivered through our pipes in our house the way that we're used to, which obviously is an inconvenience for doing dishes, for showering, for all of those other things.
All we know is the reserves are a bit of a cushion, and we do know we have dipped into them. We just don't know how much. But we do know that the city is really asking Calgarians to keep up this effort.
I think by the weekend, there's going to be people that literally have no pressure in their system. The city's obviously trying to avoid that. They're doing everything that they can, but people just simply aren't heeding the warnings as well as they should be.
And the consequences of this aren't just about that convenience of turning on your taps and having water come out.
This isn't an exact science either, because we can't predict how many fires will be in the city. And it's really important for us to maintain that minimum pressure within the system for fire suppression and fire protection. You know, if it's your house that's on fire, of course you want the fire trucks to show up and be able to fight that fire. And that's why it's so critical that we maintain a minimum level and a minimum pressure within the system.
Residential use makes up more than half of the city's water demand. Businesses only make up about a third, and that's why city officials are directing their plea to everyday Calgarians. But with work expected to stretch on for weeks instead of just days, the city has now asked certain commercial water users to stop some of their operations.
If we need to, the city has the ability to turn off water to a business if they are not complying with that ask. This would be a last resort and one we are prepared to take if need be.
I know that you've been doing everything you can to curb your water usage in the last 9 days, and I very much appreciate you for that. I know it hasn't been easy, and I know you're growing tired of me asking you to please do more and to do it for a little bit longer. And I trust you know that I wouldn't be asking you for this if I didn't believe that the security of our water supply depends on it.